She learned to read the spores, its hunger, its needs, its subtle responses to environment. She learned to read people too. When young Tom, struggling with addiction, hovered near the shed, she didn't shoo him away. She offered him a simple task, stacking bags, paid him a small amount from her earnings. He came back, day after day. She saw the pride in his eyes when he handled the substrate carefully. She saw the subtle shift in his posture. Empathy. She understood his struggle without judgment, offering dignity through work. She became a teacher, sharing her knowledge freely with other women. She didn't just teach technique, she taught patience, observation, resilience, the emotional skills the mushrooms demanded. The spores doesn't rush, she'd say, pointing to the delicate threads. It connects, it nourishes, it grows strong together. Like us, the women formed a cooperative. They pooled resources, shared harvests, supported each other through setbacks, a contaminated batch, a market glut. Povius was the quiet anchor, her emotional intelligence the glue that held them. She mediated disagreements with calm wisdom, celebrated victories with genuine joy, and offered solace during losses. The mushroom shed became more than a workplace. It became the heart of the community, a place where emotions, joy, frustration, camaraderie, grief were acknowledged, shared, and transformed. Like the spores breaking down waste, they were breaking down isolation, building connection. Povius realized her own emotional growth wasn't separate from the mushrooms. It was intertwined. The fungus demanded presence, patience, sensitivity to subtle cues, the very foundations of emotional intelligence. The storm and the strength within. Prosperity brought new challenges, and with them, deeper emotional tests. The cooperative thrived. They expanded, building larger sheds. Povius's income grew. She repaired her roof, bought Cato books, even saved a little. But success attracted envy. Rumors spread. Witchcraft, some muttered. Unnatural growth. One rainy season, disaster struck. Torrential rains, heavier than anyone remembered, lashed Hoima. The main cooperative shed, built on low ground, flooded. Hours of work, hundreds of bags of precious inoculated substrate, ruined. Povius waded into the murky water, the stench of decay thick, rescuing what she could. Despair, cold and familiar, threatened to drag her under. The old Povius would have surrendered, retreated into numbness. But the new Povius, forged in the humid air of the mushroom shed, felt the full force of the loss, the grief, the anger, the fear, and chose to act. Her emotional intelligence was her anchor. She acknowledged her own pain, then reached out. She gathered the women, not in the ruined shed, but under the large mango tree. They sat in the mud, rain still falling, and Povius spoke. Not a blame, but a shared loss, of shared strength. The spores is still there, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Underground, hidden, but alive, like our spirit, like our hope. We rebuild, together. She organized work parties. They salvaged what they could, cleaned, disinfected, started anew. They used the flooded substrate, now composted, to enrich their kitchen gardens, turning disaster into nourishment. Povius's leadership wasn't loud. It was felt. Her calm in the storm, her ability to hold space for everyone's fear while projecting quiet resolve, inspired them. They rebuilt stronger, smarter, on higher ground. The storm had tested them, and in overcoming it, they discovered a resilience they never knew they possessed. Povius had navigated her own emotional tempest and emerged not unscathed, but whole. The blooming of Namagem Povius. Years flowed like the Nile, steady and life-giving. Povius's world was no longer gray. It was the deep, rich brown of fertile soil, the vibrant white of healthy spores, the warm gold of harvest sunlight. Her mushroom farm was a model. Eco-Agric Uganda featured her story. Women from neighboring villages, even other regions, came to learn. Povius taught with a quiet passion, her emotional intelligence now a finely tuned instrument. She could sense a learner's frustration, a community's tension, a child's unspoken need. She responded not with platitudes, but with presence, with empathy, with practical solutions born of hard-won experience. Cato thrived. He was top of his class, his eyes bright with curiosity, not dulled by hunger. Hovius had funded his education, yes, but more importantly, she had given him the emotional security of a mother who was present, who felt, who connected. She had learned to love deeply, openly, without the paralyzing fear of loss that had once crippled her. She had even reconnected with Samuel, not as husband and wife, but as co-parents. He saw the change in her, the quiet strength, the thriving farm, the confident son. He found her closer to home. Their relationship was different, grounded in mutual respect and shared responsibility for Cato. Hovius had achieved more than financial security. She had achieved emotional freedom. The heavy weight of silence and suppressed feeling had lifted. She could laugh loudly, cry freely, love fiercely. She understood that emotions, even the painful ones, were not enemies to be buried, but messengers. They told her what mattered, what needed attention, what needed healing. Her journey with the mushrooms had taught her that growth often starts in the dark, in the breakdown of the old, and requires patience, connection, and resilience. It was the Spore way, and it was her way. The ever-expanding network.